We're gonna be celebrating Jesse Proctor today, just how amazing he is. Jesse is such a humble dude, but a beast. He is a beast of talent. He is probably one of the best drummers I've ever met in my life. These interviews are so neat because it gets to show people, including me, what life looks like. It's not just what they're putting out on the internet as far as music, but just what their lifestyles look like, what the habits look like of an artist. I hope you find this also to be inspiring and encouraging, and I hope you really enjoy getting to hang out with Jesse and I. All right, here we go. Do you ever do that intentionally? For instance, when you guys approach to do a song with Long Lake, when you do a project with Long Lake, do you go into each record with saying, what is this one supposed to sound like? Or do you say, hey, that one worked really well, let's just do one exactly like that? Same instruments, same arrangements, or what goes into your thought process there?
I dip into both worlds. I've definitely done the copycat thing, like copying myself when I feel like, oh, this works really well. I'm going to try it again, develop it a little bit. And then, I'll do that a few times. I would be lying if I said, oh, I never do anything twice. That's not true. But, I lately, especially, I'm always trying to figure out like where can I go that's new for me?
Sure.
It doesn't really have to be new to the world necessarily. I just need to have an authentic connection with a freshness with it. And then I feel like as long as that's happening, the rest kind of takes care of itself in some ways.
Yeah. That's so good.
If I don't feel like it's an authentic, like new, fresh thing for me, then it kind of gets boring or it feels a little stale. And somehow that transcends to a listener, hopefully,
No, it does. No, it definitely does. That really helps me kind of understand too how I have the listener experience that I have when I listen to your stuff. So that's really cool. Are there any times where you hit a wall when you're like, I feel like it's all sounding the same, like it's the same arrangement, same formula? And then if you have gone, what are some like things you've done, I guess, to get out of that rut?
I more often hit that wall when I'm trying to fit in like a commercial music lane, for example. Like I do a lot of licensing music, so there's that the artist integrity is kind of teetering on the edge at points, because you're trying to make a living doing music, so you're catering to a certain sound or an audience or something. And but if I feel like I'm hitting a wall and doing the same things over, I usually try to approach something from a different angle. Just there's so many different ways to start an idea. So like I've gotten this Digitact here recently, and I don't know, you've probably seen these little deals.
Super cool.
Electron, right? Super amazing tool. And I'm still like not exactly sure how to get it working in my workflow. Like there's a pretty big disconnect between, I love this, I love playing around with it, love making stuff on it, but I haven't like integrated it yet for the most part. But that's an example of like something I would do is just, I need to get out of the DAW. Digital audio works. So I'm going to just go into this like all in one box and try to make some stuff. And it just, changes your mind, changes your approach to the whole thing.
Totally. And I feel like you did a little bit of that with, I'm not sure if you're still doing projects with the light and the heat.
Yeah.
But I feel like something like the Digitac might have an easier way of finding itself in a project like that, right?
Definitely.
Kind of more synth-based, electronic. Yeah,
I know. And it's funny because I'm still almost applying my DAW experience to the Digitac, and I think I need to like, get deeper into the weeds with the thing so it produces a different result. But or I think instruments. That's the main point about that. For me, it's always about instruments. albums have kind of themes of like, these are the instruments I've kind of been like toying with. And if I need a new, fresh look at something, I have to get a different instrument because they
Yeah.
just have songs in them, right? So you pick up a different instrument, even if it's a guitar, it's still a different instrument than the other guitar you have or whatever it is. But,
Yeah.
it's like, got all these world.
Yeah. So
All my
cool.
guitars are kind of pieces of garbage. Nothing's really that great, but make a ton of music with them, and they're all kind of charactery and unique. So.
Yeah. No, it's so cool. What's the circular one on the wall there? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, so that is the Ruan,
Oh,
the
wow.
Chinese moon guitar,
Oh my
and
goodness.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
a
That
it
sounds so rad.
yeah, super inspiring
Yeah.
uh, instrument.
I feel
I'm
like,
using that a lot lately. But,
okay, I feel like I've heard that on the Airbnb commercial that you just helped out with.
oh yeah,
Oh, was it on that
it's
one?
all over it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. It sounded like a really familiar sound. Okay, very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's another really neat thing. Like whenever I've had friends who play drums, I've tried my best not to pigeonhole them into being a drummer, but that they're musicians, they're artists, they're not limited to just one way of expressing their art, or or sometimes they are. Sometimes they're all about the drums, you know. But I think that's been really cool about you, Jesse, is that people might know you as like a drummer, you know, but yeah, you play cello, you play guitar, you play
I
bass.
just got a cello.
Oh my goodness, that's
I
so
found
awesome.
a piece of garbage, like student model with a big crack in the front, and is $300. It's like right up
Wow,
my alley.
that's a steal. Oh
Yeah.
man,
So yeah,
no, but
that's kind of my speed with the instruments. So
no, I'm the same. Like seriously, I can look around this room, and well, we're staying at our friend's house right now, but yeah, oh man. But like, I guess what instrument do you find yourself connecting with lately? Is it still a drum kit, or are you finding more connection with another instrument?
it's a pretty big cycle for me, but in what way connection? What do
Like
you?
like it's your go-to. Like you have some time alone, and either in that time you're gonna feel like you might come up with a new idea for a song,
Mm,
or you just kind of want to just have some time just to relax and kind of just play some music.
yeah, it's usually piano.
Oh,
That's
really? Oh,
It's the
wow.
most accessible thing. You sit down, you just push some buttons.
Sure.
You
That's so
don't you
cool.
don't tune it. You just push
Yeah.
stuff and it happens.
And it is a bit percussive too, right? Like it has,
Yeah.
yeah, things are hammering. Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
I've got a little spinet piano. It's a Packard. It's not nothing special. I've recorded so much music on it. So many great like songs, sounds like coming out of another mediocre instrument. We
Wow.
in our living room we have a little ship's piano.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's
So
missing
cool.
the upper and lower octaves. It's very small, totally weird harmonic kind of thing
Yeah,
happening because of the anatomy of it. But it's really, yeah, pianos are great.
so cool. I felt like even the way you play drums, like for your folks or for friends, it was always not in the typical way that you would expect. You know, it would be just really refreshing. And so even for that, and knowing your personality and knowing your heart, that you always want to like serve someone else's philosophy and serve them and help them with their project, how are you able to find that fine line of still being, yourself in that way, but also pushing those boundaries in such good ways, yeah, to where
Mm.
it was like really refreshing and really neat.
Well, I would say, first of all, I think the people I was working with, for the most part, they're all fairly, they would give license.
Hmm.
So that is a big deal, right? Like if you're gonna like be yourself fully, you kind of have to have the permission to be yourself fully. So
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot. Um, but especially with drums is such it's like an ancient thing for me because it's what I did as a little kid.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like breathing. It's kind of like I don't really know why it's perceived as so unique. I wasn't aware that it was maybe as unique as
Really? Wow.
in the past 10 years. I kind of have realized maybe that there's something different, but I still don't actually feel like it's that different. It just feels like that's what I would do, so I do it, and
Yeah.
and it's hard to
Wow.
explain in that way. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I think I'll always like drums is always the home base for me because
Yeah.
it is the thing that I like as a child developed with,
Hmm. And you're so humble, man. And I know it's honest, humble. It's like that's just amazing to me, though. That yeah, and I think it's also cool too that you're not even aware of how amazing you are. But like, yeah, like, are there drummers out there though for you that you've listened to that to you seem different and seem special to you and were
Oh
inspiring?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, last few years, I feel like I've gotten back on the horse of like getting back into drumming because
Mhm.
drumming and drummers, it's like its own subculture, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
I think I was into it for a while, and then I kind of let go of it because I was like, I don't want to be like a chop guy. That's not
yeah,
what I just want to make music.
yeah, exactly.
So I went into a big phase of like not really caring about technicalities or anything, and
Hmm.
but now I'm back into following drummers again. It's pretty fun to like see what people are capable of and the sounds. Like everybody loves Aaron Sterling, but like he was a big part of he feels like a person that like, oh, I would love to aspire to somebody like kind of like him where he has this weird niche in that
Yeah.
world,
Uh-huh.
plays on so many records and not necessarily like a traditional sounding drummer.
Hmm.
I love watching Carter McLean as well.
Hmm.
uh, he's just so perfect.
Wow. Yeah.
There's those the kind of two opposites of people that I like following though is
That's amazing.
the super unique expression people, and then like there's the Carter that's like he just does everything very perfectly and smoothly.
Nice. Where
Anyway,
where where do you feel like you fall into more the perfect like technical drummer or more the experimental creative out of the box drummer?
um, I think I I think I identify more as the out of the box drummer
Yeah.
now
Hmm.
based on feedback, I
Sure.
guess,
Yeah.
like
Especially all my
my
feedback.
collection of
Yeah.
information for my life.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, like, I'm so aware of all the imperfections, and been a big hurdle, like, and taken a big step this year of like trying to eliminate the need for perfection.
Sure.
Um, but I have been practicing a lot more. Just started like a routine this year, doing
Oh, nice.
stick rudiments like every morning, and it's just very helpful.
That's awesome.
So it only takes about 15 minutes a day, and like
Yeah,
just keeps everything working.
that's so cool. That's convicting for me, man. I gotta get more disciplined like that too with stuff. Wow, that's so cool.
Took me a long time. I'm gonna be 35 this year, and I'm like, oh, I'm finally doing those things I always wondered if I would do. Like
Oh
I'm getting
man.
up earlier now, and I'm like doing the stick routine, and just the little things that it's such an adult behavior.
Yeah. No.
Takes a while.
No, that's so cool, man. And yeah, I guess speaking of your routine, a lot of people would look at someone's life like yours and be like, "Oh, that's so cool that you do music for a living." But there is a lot of structure and discipline that goes into having a life like that, right? And can you explain a little bit about what your day to day looks like typically?
Yeah, I've had different times of
Mhm.
structure and not structure. I
Yeah,
feel like
sure.
I've come off of about of a 3 year to 5 year of less structure and heading, now I'm really bearing down again. It's kind of ebbs and flows.
Sure.
And we just had a couple kids. So we
Yeah,
have 4-year-old
congratulations, by
Miles.
the way.
Yeah. And then June is 18 months. So we're kind of coming out of the fog with that. So now able to support a little more of a routine and structure with that.
So cool.
But I mean, I can run you down my daily routine if you want, but
I
I
kind
don't
of
know what you're looking for with that.
I think that if you feel okay with it, that would be pretty amazing. I think a lot of people would want to know, so we could take away from it things that we can do better too in our lives. Let's just that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm experimenting, like what's useful, what's not
Mm.
useful. So at this point, I'm waking up at 6 a.m., which is like really early, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing a gratitude practice. I'm just everything small, one thing, have a journal. I write down like 2 sentences,
That's
one
so
thing I'm
cool.
thankful for. It's in the moment, I'm like, this is dumb. Why am I doing this? But it really is helping a lot, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
my mental game is elevating right now.
Yeah.
So there's some things that are happening that I'm kind of unaware of. So anyway,
That's so cool.
yeah, the gratitude practice, I'm doing mindfulness meditation after that, 10 to 15 minutes, not very long. I don't feel like I'm good at it, but I'm being kind to myself. I'm just kind of doing it and being like, okay, my mind's wandering. That's okay. Just go back to your breath. That's fine. And just the kind of discipline and kind discipline of like guiding yourself back. It's like kind of changing my life. It's really great. It's all little things that don't take a lot of time, but I feel like it's fighting procrastination too, because I just
Sure.
go one thing to another, just try to be like, that's okay. I'm just going to do the next thing, a few minutes. And then, so after meditation is a stick routine. And then,
Wow. Very cool.
we're like getting on the exercise train. I know it's all like very New Year's resolution-y things, but it's like amazingly helpful. So,
Yeah. No, that's so awesome.
yeah.
And then
But
from there, then it's just kind of like open ended, depending on what you're working on.
yeah, exercise, stretch. We do breakfast all together, and then yeah, it's hitting into the workday. I've like started employing the whiteboard. Have kind of like personal projects, client work, other goals, kind of all the back burner stuff I want to get going. And
Yeah.
I've ebbed and flowed with the to-do list, the whiteboard thing. Sometimes it feels helpful, sometimes it doesn't. But one thing that's been very helpful for the creative process lately is not trying to finish anything in a given amount of time. I'm just trying to add a layer. Like, so here's specifically me and Neil Hampton is the other side of Long Lake.
Yeah.
Amazing mix engineer, mastering engineer, and musical creative. But we've been doing these ping pong compositions where it's like a lay down one layer, send it over. He lays down one layer, send it back. And we've been in
Wow.
the same headspace for a long enough time to where this really works. But it is so easy to do one
Sure.
thing, right? As
That is
opposed
so
to like, I
cool.
got to finish this whole song. It's very overwhelming, but it's kind of like zero pressure. Just do one thing, send it back. You can always mute it later, whatever.
Yeah. That's so cool. And then is he still local? Is he like in Oregon or
He's in Tacoma.
he's in
Yeah.
Tacoma? Oh, cool. So that's
Yeah.
amazing that you guys can just still do this remotely and that efficiently. That's so cool. And are
Yeah.
there any times where you guys decide that you do have to meet in person still to do some work together, or are you guys able to do most of it just like this?
I mean, we haven't been in the same room. Well, maybe, let's see, I'm trying to remember when this was. I think this was about a year and a half ago that we were in the same room working on a different project, Slow Blink. It's more like synth beat
Yeah,
music. But yeah, we haven't worked in the same room in a while. We both have our kind of processes, and
sure.
and sometimes I feel like it's easier for us just to do it separately.
Yeah,
And but I think we will like getting more into different approaches, synthesizers, programming, more flow state oriented composition is really what I want to get toward. Like the Digitact, you get something looping and then you're like, okay, I'm in the zone. Now I can start layering something, and
Yeah,
just want to get into more of that. So I could see that being very helpful in the same space collaboration style.
sure. Yeah, no, that's so cool. And then I guess, are there any tools you use to help you stay organized? I know you mentioned the whiteboard, but I mean, you have so many different projects going on. You know, you have your personal ones, you have corporate or commercial ones, you know. So how do you prioritize, I guess, and how do you stay organized?
Yeah, that's a big struggle.
Yeah.
I think I've like been failing for most of the part in the last 5 years with that, but honestly the doing little bits of everything is helping a ton. For me, at least. I don't, everybody's different, but
Yeah.
um yeah, trying not to like just sit down and finish one project or finish one song. Um Keeping kind of the list on the whiteboard so that I'm aware of what I need to do, but then just tackling little bits at a time. Like I did in drums and percussion track for an artist the other day, and I did the drum kind of layers. And then I was like, I'm just going to let this rest. Like normally I'd be like, I just want to finish this song and get it off my plate. Right.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
kind of was just being like, oh, I'm going to be patient with it. And I got the drums down. So that's great. I'm going to do the percussion on a different day. I still haven't done it. And I did the drums last week, but it's kind of a thing where I feel like I'll get to reapproach it with a total fresh view,
Yeah.
hit the percussion and be done.
I feel like that's a good discipline for any person, is just to do what you did. Start like from scratch, then see what you need and keep adding and adding until you get there. Because I think you're right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's harder to think less is more. When you have the more available, it's hard to think that way.
Dude, and I let engineering slow me down so much. Sometimes I get so hyper focused on trying to get things going into the computer really nice, like,
Yeah.
and I waste a lot of time, but I've been on a good trend of not doing that. I don't know if you're familiar with this YouTuber. His YouTube account is Struthless, and I recommend this to anybody. Go watch his 70% video about fighting perfectionism.
Oh,
That
wow.
really set me on a path of like 70%. If you're a perfectionist and you get really into the details and you like making things perfect, it's just it really makes you get things done. And it's not that like you're settling for a C minus, it's that your C
Mhm.
minus continually grows the more projects you get done. So
Yeah.
pretty soon your C minus is way better than your A plus that was a year ago.
Yeah, that's really good. I'll have to check it out. I think
Yeah, anyway.
I think it'll be really good for me. Yeah. I yeah. I won't even talk about my own failures, but I have plenty of them. But that's so cool, man. Yeah, thank you so much for your time today. I didn't want to take up too much um, time, but I really appreciate it. I feel like you shared so many amazing things today, and